Welcome back, everyone, to one of my favorite visual novels. I've already returned to the Xbox, so I won't be streaming on that for a bit. So, only the PlayStation. So let's resume to where we last left off. Before I can get burned to death, I blamed for damaging Academy property. I run down the hallway as quickly as I can. Behind me I can hear panic and the sound of fire alarm going off, but I paid no mind and continued to run. That crazy bastard, she really did it? What the hell was she thinking? Quickly open up my terminal and search through the names of students in my class. After trying a few different possible spellings of her name, I sigh in relief, certain that Draken is not in my class. Phew, thank goodness for that. Draken may not be a bad person, but she's definitely trouble. Being in her class would be too much. Giving myself a moment to calm down, I take a quick look at the names of students who actually are in my class. While I don't recognize any of them, I'm not disappointed by this fact. After all, the only people who I know at this school are the few who I met earlier today. It would be a bigger surprise if one of them was in my class. Wait a second, might have spoken too soon. Shia? Crap. Leisha is right. There's no way I can pronounce her name. Just as I'm dismissing my terminal, one name catches my eye. Although I don't have any proof that the girl with the difficult to pronounce name is in my class is Alicia, I'm fairly confident in my guess. Oh well. It's better than entering the class without knowing anyone, I suppose. With my terminal no longer visible, I decided to take a better look at my surroundings. While running, I paid little attention to my destination. I just wanted to get away from Draken before I could get caught up in her mess. But now I'm taking a good look around. It's pretty clear where I wound up. The cafeteria, huh? Come to think of it, Ray said she was going to eat here earlier. I wonder if she had any luck getting served. Take a quick look around this cafeteria. Despite the fact this is an academy devoted to the study of magic, there doesn't appear to be any difference in decor or in the atmosphere. It seems that eateries are the same no matter where you go. How's this pointing? I was hoping to at least see serving dishes made of mithril or holographic projections of each dish. Maybe the kitchen is where the magic happens. I may not be particularly good at using magic to cook, but it's fairly common practice. Incendiary spells used to heat ingredients, water create a thin air, an artificial breeze to cool dishes off, displacement spells to rotate hot masses of meat, or to move ingredients in dishes without ever touching them. Suffice to say, mixing the arts of magic and cooking has yielded very intriguing, worthwhile results. Using magic, cooking becomes faster, easier, and cheaper. It's also much less troublesome when it comes time to clean up afterwards. Best of all, it provides students with a straightforward means by which to practice spellcasting, and it offers immediate and tangible results. For students at any magic academy, using magic to assist with the process of cooking is a no-brainer. Perhaps it's time for me to learn how to cook as well. Now that I don't have my parents around to feed me, it's bound to be a useful talent. Or I could just visit the cafeteria. It has to be easier than traveling to the city and buying a bunch of ingredients for personal consumption. Never mind actually cooking them. Shrugging off my new responsibilities as soon as they come to mind, I walk closer to the counter and look at the menu. Curious to see what a cafeteria catering for different species might contain. At a glance, most of the dishes don't seem to be anything special. Salads, sandwiches, noodles, the usual stuff that you see at any cafeteria. Toward the bottom of the menu, however, live frogs, gnats, platypus eggs, holy water, unholy water, white rhinoceros meat? They have white rhinoceros meat here? How did I miss that? Showing my surprise, Ray suddenly appears beside me. Ray? What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the auditorium. Don't tell me you've been eating this whole time. How rude. I did go to the auditorium, just like I was supposed to. But the door was locked, so I came back here. Ah, I see. Me too, actually. By the time I arrived, they had already started. Oh well, guess it wasn't meant to be. More importantly, come over here. I want to show you something. Show me something in the cafeteria? Given our current location, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously food. Considering all the peculiar dishes being sold here, I wouldn't be surprised to find that she's ordered something unspeakable, or whipped up something of her own. By the time Ray has stopped walking, I realize that she wants to show me something that isn't edible. Or at least I don't think it's edible. Ray, he's looking right at me. Help. In a soft voice, the being in front of me speaks. It turns Ray away and reaches out for Ray, who laughs and stands next to it. Just nice thing to be afraid of. This is Sable, the human I was telling you about earlier. Sable? You remember? The person who can use a terminal. Oh. The green creature peeks at me from behind Ray. Still shaken, it slowly musters the courage to require to speak to me, despite its fear. Hello. Hi. I Eth. Pleased to meet you. With a panic in its voice, the creature calling itself Eth bows his head. Pleased to meet you too, Eth. My name is Sable. I think it's pronounced Sable Beer. I don't know. Could be wrong. I hope that we get along. Eth bows its head while moving further away from me. Hold on, I messed up this 2x2 I was playing with. Eth bows it, moving away from me. Eth? Don't worry about Eth, she's just a bit shy. Maybe it's because she's a mandragora? Eth is a girl? No, more importantly, Eth is a mandragora? While Ray herself doesn't seem to understand her own hypothesis, she might actually be correct. Mandragoras have been unintentionally slaughtered by humans for eons. We have decimated their homes in the name of progress, and killed them in large numbers while mistaking them for plant life. It's no surprise that Eth is wary around humans, particularly strangers like myself. A mandragora, huh? I really am meeting all kinds of demi-humans today. That is not what I want. I wanted the route for Sable's Grimoire. I better be careful about meeting up with Draken while Eth is around. That seems like a disaster waiting to happen. That is true. This does seem like a disaster waiting to happen. Towards Eth, who still appears to be nervous, I extend my hand. You don't need to be afraid of me, Eth. I won't harm you. And if anyone does try to hurt you, let me know. I'll make them regret it. I may be weak, but I do have rather nasty tricks up my sleeve. Like, admittedly altering the path of someone's internal ether flow to press against their bow, for instance. Or lowering the amount of oxygen in the air around them until they pass out. Okay. S looks at my hand timidly, then up at my face. Though clearly she is still scared, she hesitantly extends one of her hands towards it. Thank you. And me too. You too? If anyone bullies Sable, I'll poison them. Oh, that's a great idea. No. That is not a great idea. Hey, Eth. Do you think you could make some poison for me? I want to put some into a squirt gun in case one of my admirers tries something funny. I'm sorry, what? Sure, no problem. That is a problem. Though I'm dubious whether these admirers those admirers actually exist or not. This is our first day on campus. There's no way you could have an admirer already. That's not true. The hot guy was totally hitting on me earlier. And I know which character that is. Was he, Eth? What? Seriously? Hey, why do you trust her more than you trust me? Because it's not Eth's pride that gets hurt if you're lying. Anyway, what kind of guy was it? Were they a demi-human? Maybe they just wanted to feast on you. Come on. Is it really that difficult for you to... Oh, wait a second, I get it. Your playful smirk appears on Ray's face. You're jealous, aren't you? Come again? That's it, isn't it? Oh gosh, it's my first day at Amadronia Academy and there are already 2 guys showing interest in me. What should I do, Ed? I'm not ready for this. Copulate with the stronger male, a powerful partner will lead a better offspring. Okay. That's a good point. Well, you heard her, Sable. I guess you just have to fight for my love. I'm not fighting anyone. I said the 2 girls bemusedly. At this point, I can't tell if they're joking or not. Anyway, just who's this guy that's supposedly interested in you, Ray? It isn't one of the teachers, is it? Of course not. Don't even joke about that. This boy's the same age as us. He's blonde, human, and totally good looking. Really? That's kind of disappointing. Couldn't you have dreamed up someone more interesting? I didn't dream him up. He's definitely real. Oh, but maybe he isn't. Come on, Ray. I'm not sure, okay? I mean, I definitely spoke to him, but it's like, it really wasn't him. Yeah, it wasn't really him, you know? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Ray, did you inhale the spores on my back? I didn't inhale anything. Are you sure about... Wait. What was that about spores? I think back over a little of what I know about mandragoras. Although I am mainly no expert, I don't recall reading anything about hallucinogenic spores being found on mandragoras. How the hell did I do that? Oh. Was Eth making a joke? Or is this something Mandragoras keep to themselves in order to avoid being hunted for a different reason? Jeez, you two, is it really so hard to believe that a hot guy would hit on me? On your first day, in the cafeteria? Yeah, I'm afraid it does seem a little rather implausible. Besides, Ray, if you aren't sure, even you aren't sure if he exists, how are we supposed to believe in him? That's a fair point. Maybe I should confirm that he exists first. Ray goes silent for a moment as she contemplates her next course of action. After a few moments, Ray nods once, then allows a wide smile to spread across her face. Alright, let's go to the opening ceremony and prove that I'm not crazy. The door is locked, remember? I figured something out. Ignoring my advice, Ray storms off, heading towards the auditorium. What do you think, Eth? Should we go? I'll go, if you carry me. You want me to carry you? I cast a glance towards Eth's legs. Also, I'm not sure what to make of what I see. They're clearly unlike human legs, but she has moved in my presence, so it's not as though she can't walk. Is it difficult for her to move with those trunks? Sable, carry me? Alright. Just so you know, I'm not particularly strong or anything, okay? I figured as much. Cheeky look. What happened to the human-fearing girl I met just a moment ago? Carrying Eth bridal style, I very slowly make my way back to the hallway, leading to the auditorium. Eth is surprisingly heavy. While carrying her, the best I'm able to do is shuffle my feet. You better not say that out loud, or else she will strangle you. As such, we progress at a speed undoubtedly slower than we would if we simply walked by herself. Maybe I should use some muscle reinforcement magic. I was too scared of the side effects to spend much time practicing it, but right now it really would come in handy. Muscle reinforcement magic. A group of spells focus on using ether to artificially engorge and strengthen a person's body. The use for magic is obvious. For such magic is obvious to make a person, even a weakling such as myself, exponentially more powerful. Despite my body structure, I could easily lift a car with one hand while using muscle reinforcement magic. And for someone who is already strong, the effect would be many times greater. The only problem with this with this very practical, useful field of magic is that it risks damaging the user's body. While the user's muscles are enhanced, they typically focus on only a single group of muscles, and they don't reinforce the bones at all. In other words, only one part of the body is enhanced, leaving the rest completely vulnerable. If the user goes too far or uses such magic too often, they're likely to break their own bones, and to strain the muscles that aren't being enhanced. Is it possible to use... Is it possible to use muscle reinforcement magic safely? It is possible to use muscle reinforcement magic safely, but considering the risk involved, I never spent much time studying it. Oh, did I go back by accident? I think I did. Even if it's safe enough in small doses, I'd rather not put my body on the line. My own body on the line. Sable, we're here. Put me down. Oh, right. Sorry. Pulling myself out of my own thoughts, I put Ed down in the floor of the in front of the door leading to the auditorium. Ed shuffles up to the door and peers inside. She stands next to Ray, who is still scanning the students within, looking for an alleged suitor. Unlike the two of them, I have little interest in what's going on inside. While they're inspecting the students, my eyes remain fixed on the door itself. The lack of destruction surrounding it. Wow, you repaired the door already? As expected of an elite academy like this, I suppose, all of the teachers are probably well versed in restoration magic. While most people believe restoration magic to be synonymous with healing magic, they are sorely mistaken. Healing magic involves speeding up the natural healing process of a person's body. You increase their white blood cell count, ease their blood flow, and perform other temporary modifications through the recipient's body. Magic is used to expedite the healing process, but is ultimately the recipient's I hate pronouncing words. Recipient's, I'm just gonna say that, body to body which does the work. Restoration magic, on the other hand, literally returns back time for an object. It returns something to a state it was in at an earlier point in time, exactly as it once was. Despite seemingly endless possibilities that restoration magic appears to possess, however, it is far from all powerful. There are strict limitations on what can be reverted, and from how long ago. The fact that this door and its surroundings were amended perfectly means the teachers must have repaired it very quickly, and that Draken didn't completely incinerate the door. I don't see him anywhere. Maybe he's in a crate above us? Ray moves away from the door as she fails to locate her suitor. That literally looks like falls. Either that, or you really did make him up. Yeah, you might be right. Or he's been locked out. Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's it. Super Sable. Of course that's it. You think yet another person missed the ceremony? We all did. Yeah, stupid Sable. I suppressed my urge to skull raid. Whatever. Until you show me the concrete evidence, I'm going with this theory that this person is make-believe. Did you at least get this guy's name? I think it was Hal. Hal? Huh? I said very skeptically. Yeah, that's it. Definitely. Probably. Definitely probably. Probably. Definitely not. Anyway, enough of this. Are we going to try and get inside or not? In response to my perfectly reasonable question, Eth and Ray both stare at me amusedly. Don't wanna. Yeah, I'd rather not. It's always a drag to jump in halfway through something like this. Not to mention that we get scolded by the teachers for sure. We're better off just waiting for them to finish. Driven by the sudden suspicion, I summon my terminal and look up the rankings for the entrance exam. Starting at the top where Alicia's full name is firmly planted. I scroll right down to the bottom. Surely enough, Ray and Eth are both ranked in the bottom 10 places of our grid. Wow, Alicia really is a valedictorian. And it looks like Draken managed to somehow get a good rank too. She acted pretty whimsical earlier, but I guess she's much more knowledgeable and powerful than her personality would suggest, being a dragon and all. As for these two, however, Eth Rugal, 184th. Ray Mikawa, 187th. Giving a total of 189 students, they're ranked amongst the worst. The only students below Ray scored 0, meaning they likely didn't show up for the exam at all. I guess Ray was screwed over by the lack of any healing magic tests in the exam. She'll probably do better once classes actually begin. Eth is surprised though. Was she too nervous being around so many complete strangers? Oops, I pressed unselect. I closed my terminal and addressed the two dunces once more. Fine, we'll wait them out, but don't complain to me if we miss something important. Sure, whatever you say. Understood. The two girls turned towards the cafeteria, paying no further mind to the ceremony we're supposed to be part of. Ray starts walking electric strides, and Eth swerves her torso towards me, stretching her arms out wide. I sigh in resignation and pick her up, risking a hernia once more as I carry her back to the cafeteria. Once the opening ceremony has come to the end, students began to flood into the cafeteria without delay. Judging by the way they all look around the cafeteria in amazement, it seems that almost every single one of the incoming students is a first year. Students in higher grades are no doubt used to cooking for themselves by now, so it's no surprise that they wouldn't want to enter a horribly crowded cafeteria. Even if the second year students don't all know how to cook for themselves, they could always just stockpile junk food in their rooms. The allowance we receive from the academy is pretty generous, especially if you rank highly. It's not a stretch to think that busy students might buy loads of food. Yes, food. Bunch of food ahead of time. Having already eaten during the ceremony, I feel no need to get caught up in the commotion. Instead, I remain off to the side, standing beside Eth and Ray. Ray, I'm scared. There's nothing to be afraid of. Those students here are just like us. They won't hurt you. Well, except for maybe one. Really? Yep, I promise. You know, you really shouldn't tempt fate like that. Ha! What's fate gonna do? Chop Eth down and use her as mulch? Hey, stop that. Not everyone is protected by or baseless optimism. Like you are, Ray. I know, right? I wasn't praising you. Before our mindless banter can continue any longer, one of the Well, I gotta get my rabbit out away from where she's at right now. Before our mindless banter can continue any longer, one of the teachers stands in front of the room and begins to address us. It would seem that the new students came here because they were told to, not because they were simply hungry. It would seem... everyone, please settle down for a moment. You will be allowed to eat in peace shortly. Before that, there are some matters I must convey to you all. In accordance with the teacher's will, the students quickly fall into line. But rather than say everyone is obediently following her instructions, it would be more accurate to say the majority can't help but listen to her. Without realizing it, How did I do that? Oh, that's why. Oops. Without realizing it, almost every newcomer, male and female alike, has become smitten. Thank you, everyone. It makes me happy to see that we have been blessed with sensible, good-natured students once again. As your grades advisor, I look forward to guiding each and every one of you. Met with resounding applause, the teacher continues smiling as if she's already used to such perceptions. Going by her appearance, I'm not surprised. This is just not fair. A succubus as a teacher. How the hell am I supposed to say no to her? Confronted with the overpowering attraction of a beautiful succubus, I feel myself being drawn to her unnaturally. There's something about her which attracts others. Not just her appearance and her personality, but something otherworldly. For the next 30 minutes, you'll all be given the freedom to eat, talk, and do just about anything you please, rules permitting. Afterwards, you will walk to your classrooms as per the directions and schedules given out during the opening ceremony. That is all for now. Your teachers will handle the rest once you're headed to your respective classrooms. For the time being, please enjoy your meals, and treat one another with kindness and respect. Once again showered with cheers and applause, the teacher bows and she walks off. She then walks off with the other teachers, leaving us students on our own. Oh jeez, my heart is pounding. I need to figure out how she does that, so I can build up some kind of tolerance. Had this succubus cast a spell on herself or on us? I'm confident that I would have to been able to see through it and devise a countermeasure. Given that her power of attraction appears to be a natural part of her being, however, keeping my cool around her may prove difficult. Gosh, what was that? I feel all tingly and warm. Tell me about it. Succubi is scary. I cast a sideways glance as the teacher as she leaves the room. My eyes are drawn to her smooth, slim wings, her supple, perky tail. More importantly, I shake my head and face my companions, trying to distract myself. That thing she talked about. The schedule and the directions? Oh, right. Schedule. Ray and Eth are both happy to begin given something to focus on. A moment later, however, they realize what I'm trying to say. What do we do? Ask other students, I guess? The teachers all ran away, so it's not like we have much of a choice. Eth shifts her gaze between Ray and I nervously, silently bragging. Ah, yes. I'm going to brag that I don't know where the hell to go. I silently begging to us to come up with an answer. I can tell you which class you're in, but I don't know your schedule. You need to find someone from your own class and ask him, okay? Without giving Eth time to protest, I discreetly summoned my terminal underneath the table, worried that I might otherwise attract too much attention. Okay, let's see. Ray, Eth, you're both in class 1E. Whoa, really? Same class. Ray and Eth Ray looks at Eth excitedly. In response, Eth simply smiles. What about you, Sable? You're in 1E too, right? Sable too. Sorry too, I'm afraid not. I'm in 1C. Oh, that's disappointing. Are we at least in the same dorm block? Of course not. The dorms here are divided by sex, you know. Unless someone screwed up royally, there's no way we'll be in the same. Stop talking mid-sentence as I laid eyes on my room number. Unable to believe what I'm seeing, my eyes and mouth both open wide in shock. Contrary to regulations, it seems as though I've been given a room right in the middle of the girls' dorms. This has to be a mistake. Your room's right next to mine. Lucky. I ignore Ray's enthusiastic remark and double check my room number. I check again and again using different maps from different sources. No matter how many times I check, however, the reality of my situation does not change. Give me a moment. My friends called me, sorry. No matter how many times no wait, how can this be? Maybe they ran out of rooms? Or maybe they thought you were a girl. Sable's a girl's name, right? It's unisex. Anyway, this is clearly a mistake. I need to get this sorted out. Huh? But why? Don't you want a room right next to mine? Not if it means having weird rumors spread about me. I dismiss the map of the dorm blocks and instead bring up the details for our grades advisor. Capacity, control, output, efficiency, recovery, technique, and spirit. I would imagine she'll master control and recovery, granted she's a succubus. Looking at her profile, it seems Monte. It seems the succubus who addressed us all earlier is not only our grades advisor, but also my class's teacher. Monte, huh? Well, Miss Monte, you will have some explaining to do. Without delay, I began formulating a message to send my year's advisor. Miss Monte, my name is Sable. I'm a male first-year student. It seems that I've been given a room in the female dormitory by mistake. Please have this oversight rectified as soon as possible. I sent the message to Eris and breathed a sigh of relief. Miss Monte seemed like a straight-laced, diligent person. Now that I explained the situation to her, I'm sure she'll... I look down at my terminal, a message comes through. A reply already. Eris really must be diligent. Good morning, Mr. Labir. This is Eris Monte, your grades advisor. I must say I'm surprised that a first-year student is capable of using a terminal, especially one ranked as poorly as yourself. Talk about unnecessary commentary. I thought that being the advisor for first years would be a piece of cake, since none of them can bother me out of the blue like this. But I guess a bit of peace was too much to hope for, huh? I feel sweat drip down my forehead as my initial impression of Eris is destroyed one line of text at a time. As your grades advisor, my advice to you is to pad your chest and wear a wig. And bye-bye, don't get caught peeping. As I read the last line of text, our connection is severed and a message comes up telling me that Eris had blocked my terminal ID. For better or worse, I have just seen the true face of my new teacher, and it's not pretty. Wow, talk about not judging a book by its cover. I think I just lost all faith in the staff at this academy. So, how'd it go? Did you get moved? I don't want to talk about it. I know there's one route in this that I'm hesitant to do. And we'll get to meet the character here soon anyways. Eager to escape the somber atmosphere of my own creation, I decide to see my dorm room for myself. Eth and Ray are both busy trying to find someone who can tell them their schedule, so for the time being, I'm on my own. So these are the student dorms, huh? I lived fairly close to my previous schools, so I never lived in a dorm before. I guess I better start learning how to be more independent from now on. I follow the room numbers on each door until I reach my own. Floor 3, room 12, my new home for the duration of my time at Adronia. Phew. Alright, here we go. Place my hand on the panel outside the room. The moment I do so, my fingerprints are scanned and a small amount of ether is extracted from my body. Then the ether is then processed, sent back into my body, and extracted once again. Finally, after this procedure is repeated a few times, the door is unlocked. Sheesh. Is that level of security really necessary? I get that the risk of a mage bypassing a lock or tricking conventional security measures is high here and elsewhere, but this much scrutiny is really over the top. And won't any winged students just fly up to the room's window anyway? True, I'm pretty sure Draken does that. Because she has wings. This kind of security is totally out of place here. As fingerprint and iris scanners have become increasingly simple to bypass in recent years, new security measures have been eagerly sought. In most cases of mages, ether signatures, imprints of the unique makeup of the entity's life energy have become the de facto standard for security. Unfortunately, like most more orthodox security measures, the process is neither quick nor convenient. Maybe the scanners here are for privacy reasons, rather than security? These scanners are overkill when it comes to keeping outsiders away, but if one infiltrating these rooms are Magic Academy students, then this level of security is necessary to keep them out. It may be over the top, but when you're dealing with students who can incinerate ordinary doors in single breath, standard security measures just don't cut it. Finally dragging my eyes away from the door, I entered my dorm room at last. The moment I enter, I raise an eyebrow at the sight in front of me. Contrary to my expectations, I spy 2 beds, 2 desks, and the belongings of someone other than myself. As for the bed, the bottom bunk appears to be untouched, whereas the other has been neatly arranged with miscellaneous decorations scattered all around it. From the look of things, it would seem that my roommate has arrived ahead of me. I didn't expect to have a roommate. I thought that a huge academy like this would provide a separate room for each student, considering the relatively low number of students in attendance. Oh well, as long as my roommate isn't violent nor overly rowdy, I'm sure we'll get along. Hello? Is anybody here? Hello? I walked to the room, turning my head left and right as I searched for my roommate. Did my roommate come up here earlier before the opening ceremony? Or did I just miss them? Shrugging my shoulders, I sit down on my own bed and begin to unpack. Although there isn't much for me to take out, there are at least spare clothes and toiletries to put away. Even at this age where magic assists in the production of so many goods, running out of clean clothes is as valid a concern as ever. Okay, that should just about do it. Now then, since my roommate isn't here, I guess I'll head back to the cafeteria and see how... A moment before my hand touches the door, I freeze. The sound of the door unlocking, more akin to the sound of something decompressing, fills the entire room as I unintentionally go silent. Wings enter my line of sight, followed by smooth golden hair. Light footsteps encroach upon me, and before long I am standing face to face with my roommate. Hi, Tix is here. You must be my roommate. Pleased to meet you. Tix extends one of her tiny hands towards me as she stares into my eyes, waiting for me to respond. Yeah, likewise. Okay, the route I'm hesitant to do is hers. I shake Tix's hand, careful not to exert too much force. So my roommate is human? Huh? Is it human? Am I one at that? Oh yeah, it seems there was a mix-up with my room assignment. I've already informed our grades advisor, but honestly, it didn't seem like she was going to do anything about it. I wouldn't worry about that. In fact, chances are this arrangement it's my mother's doing anyway. Your mother? Uh-huh. This is kind of embarrassing to admit, but you find out sooner or later anyway. So, I might as well be upfront and just explain everything right off the bat. Let me get straight to the point. And the truth is, I'm not here to sell you, or at least not to sell you magic. I actually enrolled at Amadronia in order to myself with males, and maybe even find a mate. Come again? A mate, a spouse, a partner of sexual variety. I don't know how much you know about pixies, but our race is 100% female. Naturally, this means that we need to crossbreed in order to survive as a species. Yes, I know my phone battery is low. Stop yelling at me. Since there are no men in our societies, pixies generally venture into domains of other races, find a mate, and then return home after they've been impregnated. And that's why you come to Amadronia, to become pregnant then return home. Yep, that's the plan. I'm going to be heads up. That doesn't happen throughout the entire her route. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this as an early warning, just in case I decide to do her route. Actually, I should go look at tags. Open up Twitch. Yep, that's the plan. Man, talk about a difference in culture. Stream manager. Pixies wander into civilizations of other races, engage in one-night stands until they get pregnant, then head back to their home villages. How do I... Go away. How do I do this? Well, it doesn't look like there's a tag for that. Okay, well. Any human who was caught doing that would no doubt wind up being called some rather nasty names. Ah, but if you think you can just have your way with me, then get this room all to yourself, you should know that won't be that easy. I won't settle for just anyone, you know. I'm not that kind of pixie. My mother has given me 2 years to find a suitable mate, so I'm not about to jump to the first human I meet and call it a day. I'm glad to hear that. Although now that I think about it, I suppose that wouldn't be too bad. I do want to return home as soon as possible, after all, and humans are a pretty safe bet when it comes to breeding. What's your family's medical history like? Any repeated incidents of heart disease or other hereditary illnesses? Not that I'm aware of. Excellent. In that case, I might put you on the list of candidates after all. You see, pixies have a pretty low survival rate out in the wild. Our children are initially very weak and quite susceptible to illnesses. Furthermore, we intend to give birth to at least a dozen offspring at a time, and our gestation period is only 2 months. Jeez, that's fast. So, we're prime targets for predators. But if I give birth in a safe place like this, and the father's family has a clean medical history, then that shouldn't be a problem at all. If I'm lucky, the entire litter might survive. I began to back away from Tix. She seems a cheerful person, but in a certain sense she's quite scary. Going off current impressions, Tix might just be more of a handful than Ray. putting all this talk of breathing aside for a moment, do you happen to attend the opening ceremony this morning? The opening ceremony? Of course I did. What guy would miss something so important? Yeah, I know, right? I was totally there. I forced a smile onto my face and continue. But let's say someone did miss the ceremony or fell asleep halfway through. What do you think the most important thing for them to know? I mean, like, if I were to summarize the key points of the ceremony? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly like that. Tix tilts her head to one side and immerses herself in thought. Let's see, blah blah blah, part of the city, blah blah blah, use magic responsibly, blah blah blah, stop kicking the back of my chair. No, I don't think there was really anything important covered. Oh, but they did mention that receive our allowance at the start of each week. I see. I smile wryly as I catch a glimpse of Tix's nature. Please don't let me be in the same class as this girl. So anyway, now that we're good friends, don't you think it's time you introduce yourself? Or is it human custom to arrogantly ask questions of someone they're meeting for the first time? Rather than reciprocate Tix's passion and aggression, I exhale deeply, then look her in the eye. Right. Where are my manners? My name's Sable. I'm an 18-year-old human, and this is my first time living in a dorm, or having a roommate. I try not to inconvenience you, so if I do anything wrong, please don't hesitate to tell me. I smile and bow my head, immediately eliciting a gasp of surprise from Tix. Well, that was pretty good. How do you put on that generous smile like that while harboring such negative emotions? I tilt my head up and gaze at Tix in confusion. Negative emotions? Yeah, you were just feeling something like, grr, I'm so jealous of this beautiful pixie. But the whole time you had a bright smile on your face. How do you do that? Most humans who I've met can't mask their feelings at all. Honestly, taken aback by Tix's words. Although her words don't match my thoughts, she's completely correct about me harboring negative feelings towards her, despite my smile. Where is it? I need this open. Most people would point out that my feelings were obvious given Tix's rude words, but from the way she spoke, Tix made it sound like she could feel what I was feeling. Tix, can you read thoughts? Thoughts? Oh no, not at all. I simply noticed the changes in your complexion, breathing, and posture. Despite the smile you wore, you took a defensive stance. Your breathing quickened, and a slight tinge of red appeared on your face. For a race which survives by reading danger signals from predators, gauging the emotions of a human being is frightfully simple. Wow, you're one scary fairy, you know that? What did you just call me? I was just saying that... A fairy, was it? You think I'm a fairy? No. I instinctively back away as Tix emanates danger unbefitting of her small stature and cute face. Her voice is low and her eyes narrow. She looks like she's about to pounce at any second. Anyway. I'll be right back. Any water? Anyway. Oops. It's about time I return to the cafeteria. I'll be right back. I gotta go do something. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's about time I return to the cafeteria. Roger, get away from that corner. You can't be in that corner. I wouldn't want to keep my new friends waiting. I'll talk to you later, okay? Sorry about that. The parents keep walking in here, and I don't really like talking for a stream when they're in here. Mostly because my dad. It's not anything bad, it's just he can say a lot of shit that I don't want on stream. I'll talk to you later, okay? I'll watch past ticks and head for the door. The moment I reach for the doorknob, however, something takes over my arm. Oh, trying to escape, are we? So that's how humans do things. You commit a grave offense, then walk away and pretend it never happened. Is that what's going on here, my friend? Pain shoots up my arm as Tix tightens her grip. Contrary to her small size, Tix is able to exert tremendous pressure. I wouldn't expect this kind of strength coming from someone twice her size. Is Tix using muscle reinforcement magic? Though the dangers are clear for humans, other species aren't necessarily exposed to the same risks posed by muscle reinforcement magic. For a creature without skeleton, for example, they might not need to worry about their muscles growing too large and crushing their bones. The undead avoid the risk of passing out from a lack of blood. Large muscle-bound creatures like minotaurs can increase their strength many times over before noticing any side effects. The case of a pixie, the risks are unknown to me, but at the very least it's safe to say that, due to her apparently low survival rate in the wild, muscle reinforcement magic is well worth the risk. I'm terribly sorry, Tix. Please forgive me. It's a slip of the tongue. It won't happen again. I desperately plead to the predatory pixie holding me captive. Tix glares at me, looking deeply into my eyes, as if she's trying to measure the sincerity of my statement. After a few seconds, Tix relaxes her grip, and I breathe a sigh of relief. Why didn't you just say so? Of course you're forgiven. Oh, thank goodness. I quickly reach for the door, urgently trying to make my escape. Oh, but one more thing before you go. Hesitantly, I turn my head. Yes? Fairies and pixies are mortal enemies. There's no greater insult for a pixie than to be called a fairy, and vice versa. So watch what we say, okay? In Tix's warning, all I can do is nod silently, then vanish from her sight as quickly as humanly possible. After dealing with Tix, I no longer feel like meeting up with Ray and Eth. Instead, I head outside and resume my earlier tour of the campus grounds, giving myself time to clear my head before my first lesson at Andronia. Keep saying Andromeda. Can begin. As I wander around the courtyard, looking up at the classrooms from outside, reality finally begins to set in. Although I've been taking it easy so far, the fact of the matter is that I will soon be sitting in one of those classrooms, studying subjects not taught in any other facility. On this day, I've become a student of illustrious Amadronia Academy. With all the detours, and encounters I've experienced so far today, it's hard to think of this day as a day of study. So that's exactly what it is. My first day at a magic academy. It may seem surreal right now, but the reality of the situation is that I'll soon be sitting in a classroom filled with demi-humans, studying my brains out. While I realize that we likely won't be doing anything difficult or especially interesting on our first day of class, I'm excited to begin nonetheless. To this day, I have remained completely self-taught. I have never been tutored in magic by someone more experienced than myself, or attended any lectures, or even befriended another magic user. Everything I learned from researching the works of others, and attempting to recreate it myself. I wonder if I'll be able to adapt to a classroom environment. Having attended normal schools until now, I'm no doubt at an advantage compared to other students here like Draken. But as far as actually using magic in front of a class full of students is concerned, I shuddered as I imagined myself failing miserably in front of my class. Even if I'm not socially awkward or afraid of the crowds, relatively speaking at least, using magic in front of others is currently a big deal for me. During the entrance exams for Amadronia, I was required to perform basic spells in a private scene with teachers, administrators. Before that, however, I had never once used magic in front of a complete stranger. It's not that I'm ashamed to be a mage, or embarrassed about my weak output. If anything, it's quite the opposite. I'm proud of myself. I take great pride in what I've accomplished using my own power. I strongly believe that I realized certain truths about magic which nobody else has, and that I can do things nobody else has figured out how to. But if that's wrong, if I do my best in front of the classroom full of people and nobody is impressed in the slightest, then where does that leave me? No, I can't afford to start thinking that way. I am onto something. I have made discoveries that nobody else has. Even if my work is found to be derivative or similar to someone else's, my research was definitely not in vain, and it will have an impact on others. I'm going to become a world-renowned magic researchers. Just you wait and see. I unconsciously pump my fish in front of my body as I psych myself up. What are you doing? Ah! I jump to the side as Bemuse's voice calls out to me from behind. Roger, why are you over there? You can't be in that corner. Boop. As the Bemuse's voice calls out to me from behind. Greeting me with a deadpan expression is Leisha, who seems unfazed by my reaction. Leisha, I have been called as such, yes. Now will you answer my question, Sable? Is this some kind of training or ritual? I would like to hear it. I ponder Leisha's words for a moment as I think back over my actions. All I did was walk around with my head down, and then pump my fist in front of me. Articulate to be sure, but nothing worth thinking about. Ah yes, make something up. Oh, okay. A smirk finds its way onto my face for an instant. And as I decide to mess with Leisha. Faced with someone like her who's serious to a fault, how could I not? Ah, I see. So you saw that, huh? Very well, it can't be helped. Not that you already seen that much. I thrust my arm out in front of my body, clenched my fist, and dropped my elbow. This is an ancient movement practiced by my forefathers. It is said to capture the ether in the air around you and bring it into your body, permanently increasing your capacity to store ether henceforth. It is by performing this ritual many times a day, every day, that I was able to master a terminal at such an early stage. So that's it. I felt that there was something not right about you when I witnessed that movement. But I did. Sorry if you hear me sniff. I have a little bit of stuffy nose. But I didn't think that it would be something so amazing. Leisha stares at me, wide-eyed with her mouth agape. She believes every word I have said. I'm sure I don't need to say this, but please do not tell anybody about what you have seen here today. This ritual is one that has been passed down through my family for generations. If others were to learn of it and abuse it, my ancestors would never forgive me. I clench my fist, this time in feigned anger, and fight back fake tears. Passed down through your family for generations? Very well, you can count on me. I can? Leisha, I love you, by goddamn, you are gullible. What, Roger? Leisha clenches her fist and brings it to her chest as she stares directly into my eyes. Oh, I messed this up. And it's fine. Of course. Nobody understands the importance of tradition and ancestry more than the elven race. On my pride as an elf, you have my word that I will not speak of this to anyone. I breathe a sigh of relief as Leisha treats my actions with as much importance as I claim them to have. Truthfully, I am just grateful she won't tell anybody that I was doing something so embarrassing. Ah yes, this has passed down through my family for generations. Thank you, Leisha. I appreciate your discretion. I smile earnestly and slightly bow my head. Oh, no, think nothing of it. I am simply showing her deserved respect for an ancient ritual. It would be rude of me not to honor your wishes. Leisha's face is tinged red as she averts her gaze and scratches her face. Seeing this, I realize that I have succeeded in my goal and decide to move our conversation forward. So Leisha, we met out here once again. Did you come here straight after the opening ceremony? Indeed I did. Why did you go with everyone else to the cafeteria? Aren't you hungry? Like I could eat pre-processed gruel served by by humans. I'm pretty sure none of the cafeteria staff here are humans. What's more, some of the dishes I saw on the menu were about as far from pre-processed as you can get. Be that as it may, I still feel no desire to eat in that stuffy room, surrounded by strangers on every side. I would rather spend my time out here, sitting beneath the trees and breathing in fresh air. When you put it like that, I can't really blame you. But is that really okay? You might miss something important if you keep going off on your own. Are you truly in a position to say that? I can look up whatever information I need on my terminal, so even if I miss a few lectures, I'll be okay. That's right, isn't it? Alicia displays slight frustration as I remind her of the ability which only one of us currently possesses. In that case, I suppose it can't be helped. If I lose my way, I will come to you for support. Alicia, do not misunderstand. I am merely saying that I will be relying on you as one student to another. We are in the same class, after all. It is our responsibility as classmates to support one another. Alicia pouts unhappily while unintentionally sharing her true feelings. You even looked up which class I've been placed in? I did no such thing. I was simply glancing over the names on my class's list. And I happen to notice your name down there. It's not like I was searching for your name in particular. Alicia defends herself in a fluster, desperately trying to convince me of the fact that she hasn't given me a second thought since our meeting earlier. You know, Alicia, when you get embarrassed, even your ears start to turn red. For an elf, that's actually quite a sight. I am not embarrassed. Fooling nobody, Alicia clenches her fist and asserts herself once more. Calm down, Alicia, I'm just messing with you. Man, your friends must have a lot of fun teasing you. A true friend would not seek to harass me in the first place. What's the fun in that? I know that's not true, a true friend. I smirk to myself and inwardly think Alicia. While meeting up with Alicia was not part of my plan, when I first came out here, joking around with her has helped improve my mood for the better. Even if she comes off as a bit unsociable, I think I'll be able to get along well with Alicia. So, Miss Valedictorian, will you be coming to class shortly, or do you plan to stay out here a while longer? I will show my face in due time. For the moment, however, I wish to refrain from fraternizing with others any more than necessary. Fraternizing? I'm talking about classmates. How could you really have a low opinion of them? I take it you did not attend the opening ceremony? I raised that eyebrow at Alicia's words and shook my head. I thought as much. Mingling with those cretins would be a waste of time. You'll see what I mean when you enter into the classroom. Leaving behind those ominous words, Alicia begins to walk away, heading in the opposite... Oops. Is this the back button? Oh, this is the back button. Okay. Alicia begins to walk away, heading in the opposite direction of the academy. Wherever she's heading, it seems like Alicia is no rush to join her classmates and I. And before long, I shall find out why. Wary of Alicia's warning, I wait outside of my classroom for a few minutes before approaching the door. I might go for the 2-hour mark, maybe 3 hours. I'm not going to stream long today, because I do want to hang out with some of my friends, but tomorrow, I'm actually going to stream. I might stream tomorrow. It depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah. Wary of Alicia's warning, I wait outside my classroom for a few minutes before approaching the door. From the outside, I can see through the glass panel on the door, and for a while, I have no idea why Alicia was so hesitant to enter. The students are all quietly sitting on their own, casually chatting with the person next to them. Some have their textbooks out, others are playing with physical terminals placed on their desks, meant as a stopgap until they can use the spell itself. No matter how many times my eyes can scan the room, I fail to notice anything that could merit caution. Then it hits me. The moment I walk through the door, the volume of my classmates increases exponentially. Everyone is either sitting on their desk or is standing grouped together in the middle of the classroom. I spot one student stuck to the ceiling, looking down the shirts of my female classmates. They're a rock. Well, you're inside, so throw the chalk eraser. Throw the eraser to the blackboard. Wait, they have a blackboard, yet they have these advanced technology. I'm sorry, what? Why do they have a blackboard? But yet they have these advanced technology terminals. The fuck? Another is standing in front of the classroom trying out some spell akin to a party trick. Put simply, the entire room is in a state of chaos. What in the hell is going on in here? What happened to the quite well-behaved students I observed a moment ago? Was that magic things? Casting a glimpse back towards the door, I quickly understand what's going on. Sound blocking spell on the door, illusionary magic on the glass pane. Through the strategic use of two specialized yet not overly complicated spells, the class is able to fly under the radar while doing as they see fit. Oops. Even our teacher would have a hard time punishing my classmates after seeing their creative use of such magic. I can see what Alicia was talking about. It's certainly more peaceful in the courtyard, away from these troublemakers. Maybe I should... Well met, my dear prince. Before I can turn around back and head back out of the classroom, a strange being appears in front of me. Forgive me for approaching you so silently. I am afraid I had no choice. The moment I spied you from across the room, I could not stop myself from making your acquaintance. The person in front of me places its hand on my shoulder. Leaning in close, it whispers sweet words into my ear. From the unique contours of your body to your supple flesh, there's not a speck of imperfection to be found. Your eyes, like gems, beckon me closer, even as common sense dictates otherwise. Pray before I succumb to despair, would you grant this lowly being your name? Motionless, I continue to observe the peculiar person in front of me. It speaks praise with every breath, and exudes a sense of mystery as I ponder its words. But above all else, what surprises me most of all is that I find myself strangely attracted to it. I like this music. I think this music only shows up during certain times. I'm Sable the Beer. I'm Sable. Sable the Beer. Sable, is it? Such a fitting name for one as transcendent as yourself. Tell me more about yourself, Sable. Where do you hail? What is your family structure? Have you ever fallen in love? A face begins to form on the blank slate as it continues to speak. The soft, delicate features of a gorgeous young woman begin to manifest, transforming into the canvas in front of me into a beautiful girl. My heart skips a beat as I attempt to respond. Who is this person, and how could their appearance change before my very eyes? No, did they change, or did my mind simply blank out the moments I saw them? Sable, my love. Ah, my tense, yes, my tense. My chest tightens once again. A radiant smile is beaming down on me, quickly sapping my strength. I can feel my lips quiver as our faces grow closer. I tell my body to back away, but it won't listen. My own feelings have rendered me powerless. Possible. Is this what it means to fall in love? To have my own body turned against me? To feel my heart beat harder and louder than ever before? It's almost like... My eyes shoot wide open as I finally realize what's going on. Taking my eyes off of the suspicious, attractive woman in front of me, I focus instead on the ether surrounding us. Surely enough, the air is filled with suspicious movements of ether, a clear indication that someone is currently casting a spell. By analyzing abnormal ether patterns in the air around us, I am able to trace the source of the closest abnormality back to an obvious source. I then disrupt the suspicious flow, at which point my heart immediately begins to slow back down to its usual pace. That's much better. Love might be something outside my comfort zone, but spells are well within my area of understanding. Seriously, though, how could I have fallen for that? Even knowing there was an illusionist in this classroom, I felt for such an obvious deception. How embarrassing. Thinking back over what I saw when looking through the glass panel on the door earlier, my conclusions is obvious. The creature in front of me excels in perception-altering magic. I'm not in love. I'm just weak-minded. Sable, my dear, sweet Sable. Where have you been all my life? It feels only now, with you by my side, am I truly... Back off, buddy. I push away the creature's hand, and its face returns to the blank state it once was. And yet, despite its lack of expression, astonish is evident on the canvas before me. My, that was fast. You were the first being to ever break my spells so quickly. The creature takes a step back, its voice filled with curiosity and joy. Now, I really am interested in you. What manner of being are you? How highly are you ranked? I thought you were a mere human, but that is evidently not the case. I shake my head and sigh. I'm 100% human. And I'm not even close to being highly ranked. If I'm the quickest to break your illusion, you're just picking easy targets. The creatures of the corners of the creature's mouth, or rather, contours for one's mouth, usually reside the rise. Is this thing smiling? You give yourself too little credit, my dear. Before coming here, I ensnared all manners of beings, old and young, male and female, noble and commoner. While you may not be highly ranked, you are undoubtedly quite observant. While the creature's words are not completely accurate, I can't deny that I am observant in at least one regard. Ether, the mystical energy which courses through the bodies of all living things. Ether is all around us. It pulses through the core of the planet, flows along ley lines, gets carried by the wind, and even travels through the rays of the sun. Or is it that ether facilitates the movement of the wind and the passage of light? Is ether the reason why Earth spins, and why entities orbit around large, dense objects filled with ether? Even in this day and age, when ether is used for so many aspects for our daily lives, there are still countless questions which remain unanswered. Every day, theories are proven or disproven. New concepts are tested, and our understanding of magic grows a little bit more mature. One reason why ether is so difficult to study is because it's not the same as conventional matter. It is neither a wave nor a particle. Cannot be stored in a typical container, such as a jar, yet it may inhabit an ancient artifact. Furthermore, ether is difficult to observe. Most beings cannot actually see ether. Even those adept in magic typically just feel its presence, like they would a breeze or the heat of summer. Very few people are capable of seeing ether with their own eyes, and even among those who can, most choose not to do so due to the strain it places on their body. I know this because I am one of those fortunate few. Whatever your background may be, you have without a doubt caught my interest. Please do me the belated honor of allowing me to introduce myself. The creature smiles and tilts his head forward. My name is Hel. I am a Napura Bow. Now, before you get the wrong idea, do note that I'm not one of those mischievous foxes playing a prank. I am, in fact, the real deal. Whatever reference Hale is attempting to make, I think Hale's trying to make a reference to the shape-shifting foxes of folklore. The polymorph foxes. I forget what they're called. It is unfortunately lost on me. A Napura bow? What the heck is that? I've read a great number of different demi-humans, but I never heard one of those before. I silently make a mental note to research the unfamiliar name later on. For the time being, I can only smile wryly Really. Riley, yeah. And attempt to communicate with the creature. Okay. So then, Hell, now that your cover has been blown, will you tell me at least... will you at least tell me why you're trying to deceive me? I was not trying to do anything. I succeed with great ease. I bet a temporary feat. You know I meant. A chuckle escapes from Hell's mouth's face. I do indeed. Forgive my deception, but I assure you I meant no harm. I simply have a soft spot for beautiful creatures as yourself. Beautiful creatures? I raised an eyebrow in response to Hell's unexpected explanation. You do know I'm a guy, right? Hey, don't you? What relevance does that have? Beauty does not discriminate by sex. Besides, what harm is there in a woman finding a man attractive? I saw Hell blankly for a moment as I attempted to process her words. My eyes began to drift from her blank face to her torso, then to her legs. I unconsciously analyzed her body, which I had initially overlooked due to the surprise of seeing her featureless face. Yet, you're a woman? Don't get too excited. I may be interested in you, but that doesn't mean I'm easy. You have to try hard to win my heart. Hold on, I gotta see if Hell has her route. Nope, doesn't look like it. And that makes me sad because I actually like Hell. No, it's not that. I was just. Alex, you don't need to explain yourself. You're so captivated by my lovely face that you paid no attention to the rest of my body. Am I wrong? My face twitches as I come up with a retort. Painfully, however, the truth is that she's right. Setting aside the matter of whether it's lovely or not. I messed this up. God damn it. Setting aside the matter of whether it's lovely or not, and whether it can even be called a face, to begin with, my attention was indeed initially drawn to a single part of Hell's body. I'm sorry? Oh, you don't worry. I wasn't looking for an apology. I simply want to want the party in which I have taken an interest to know the real me. The upper portion of Hell's face twitches, almost like she's winking. A moment later, Hell walks away, throwing one hand into the air to wave goodbye. Beautiful creatures, huh? I shake my head and try to get Hell's face, or lack thereof, out of my mind. Do you think that such a person is not only in my grade, but also in my class? This is going to be a rough year, isn't it? Taking another look around the classroom, I sigh and bang my head. After a few moments of silent contemplation, I take a free seat near the front of the class and wait for class to begin. Even as the bell signifying the beginning of class rings, the noise emanating from my classroom does not die down. Dampened by the sound blocking spell cast on the classroom door, the ringing of the bell doesn't reach the ears of my classmates. And the wiser, they continue to talk amongst themselves, happily socializing with one another without care in the world. As such, it isn't until a familiar figure enters the classroom that my classmates finally begin to settle down. Eris Monte, our grades advisor, a succubus and also this class's homeroom teacher. Hello again, everyone. For those who missed the opening ceremony, my name is Eris Monte. I will be acting as both your homeroom teacher and your grades advisor for the remainder of this year. It is a pleasure to meet you all, and I do hope that we are able to get along. Eris smiles brightly at the class, charming most of them with ease. Amidst the cheers and swooning, I begin to wonder who would win out of Eris and Hell, should the two ever face off. It sounds like for a death battle. It's time for a death battle. Before we begin taking attendance, there are a few things I must discuss with you all. As you all know, during your first 2 years at this academy, you are treated more like school children than university students. You are afforded many freedoms, but you will also be closely monitored. Expected to strictly abide by the academy rules and regulations. You will be guided, not coddled. Everything you will need will not be handed to you on a silver platter. If you feel that you will need your hand to be held every step of the way, leave this classroom right now and do not come back. Dropping her cheerful facade, Eris glares at the class as she gives us all an unexpected ultimatum. Grow up or get out. A hard choice considering that most of the students in this class most likely come from non-human settlements far away. You'll stick around? Then listen closely, because this next part is important. Under no circumstances are you to pester your teachers outside of class. If you need help, ask your classmates, or double down on your studies. We're here to teach, not to babysit. We can't give parental treatment to one student just because they bitch and moan about their ineptitude. In short, deal with your own problems. We will neither be held accountable, nor go to any great lengths to help you. In response to Eris' words, the students who she charmed continued to cheer. As for the rest of us, however, the looks on our faces are a mix of disbelief and disgust. Is this woman really a teacher? Before anybody can protest or ask any questions, Eris opens her terminal and begins taking attendance. How horrifying! Is such an irresponsible woman truly a teacher? I cannot imagine that an academy as prestigious as this would adopt such an approach towards teaching. This is surely be the will of that woman alone. I think you might be right about that. Unfortunately, I missed both the opening ceremony and our orientation day, so I haven't had the chance to hear any different from the principal or any of the other teachers. I skipped the orientation day, but as someone who attended the opening ceremony, I am afraid I can offer you a little solace. This succubus did most of the talking. Once she put majority of our grade under her spell, they refused to listen to any of the other teachers. Worse, a pathetic weakling of a principal didn't even try to stop her. He just nodded his head and allowed her to take control of our entire grade. I saw her power at work in the cafeteria earlier, but I didn't realize things had already gone out of hand. Considering how many of my classmates aren't human, I'm surprised to learn that Ares' power seems to work without prejudice. Race and sex have no bearing. Everyone who hears her voice and sees her face falls under her spell. But why was I not affected this time around? Why was Leisha spared? Is it a matter of perception? Or is it because we both possess strong control over ether? We unknowingly started to build up intolerance to such spells. I need to look into this. Finding this situation somewhat odd, add one more peculiarity to my mental list of things to research on later on. After doing so, I turned to Alicia. By the way, why did you decide to sit next to me? You've been in a huff every time we've spoken. I figured that I would be the last person you want to sit next to. Don't think so highly of yourself, human. You do not merit that level of consideration. I sat here because I wanted to. Do I need more compelling reason than that? No, I suppose not. I was just thinking that... Hush. Cease your idle thoughts and focus. The lesson is about to begin. After taking attendance, Eris sighs loudly and leaned against the podium. It keeps looking like an L. Podium at the front of the classroom. She's clearly demotivated and seems to possess no desire whatsoever to teach. Back to teaching first years, huh? What do you shitty brats even know? I'm gonna have to start from the basics of basics, aren't I? Alicia and I glance at one another, confirming that we really did hear our supposed teacher correctly. But Roger, you want this? Oh well, at least there's one advantage to teaching the basics. Eris turns around and raises her hand. She holds her palm out towards the wall, redirecting the flow of ether such that it creates a large sheet. The sheet lights up and a large quantity of information is displayed on it. Is that a terminal? Never seen one that big myself, but I suppose there's no reason why a person could make one that big. Just what is the teacher planning? Eris draws the attention of the entire class, and for once, it's not because she's charmed them. Most of the people present have never seen a terminal being used before. Furthermore, as far as I'm aware, the only people in this classroom capable of using them are Eris and I. As such, expanding her terminal to such a great size is a surefire way for Eris to captivate the class. After navigating in a seemingly rehearsed fashion, Eris opens a recorded lecture on the origins of ether. Eris then takes her seat, kicks back, and lets the recording do her job for her. Is it finally over? Seems like it. What a waste of time. If I wanted to watch a recording old lesson, I could have done so from my dorm room. Indeed, not to mention the sheer Oops. The sheer simplicity of the subject matter. Theories pertaining to ether production. The reason why only some races are capable of using magic. She must be joking. Eris was probably hoping to lose some students, but either boring them or freaking them out. That is a worrying possibility, and not an unlikely one, given what we just experienced. The lecture focused mainly on studies and theories dating back hundreds of years, from a time when human technology could still be considered primitive at best. Graphic descriptions portrayed the dissection of demi-humans, both alive and dead. Even delve into the old belief that eating demi-humans' heart would grant a human their powers. For a lecture which supposes to be about the basics of ether and spellcasting, it wound up being surprisingly confronting. Setting aside Eris's intent, the lecture itself was fairly interesting. There were quite a few controversial topics covered. I can't imagine just any old academy would expose us to that kind of content on our first day. I wager that too was our teacher's doing, rather than the will of the academy. As you suggested a moment ago, it was likely for the sake of horrifying students rather than teaching them. If so, then our teacher is truly a detestable woman. Sighing loudly, Leisha stands up from her seat and walks into the aisle. With our teacher gone and our classmates having risen from their seats, it seems Leisha herself is eyeing the door. Leisha, are you going somewhere else? Going somewhere? Our next class is in their Zoom too. Shouldn't you stay put? You have me remain in this crowded classroom being assaulted by unintelligible babbling from every side. Do not be ridiculous. I shall take my leave and then return once the next sessions begin. It's about to begin. Leaving behind those few words, Leisha walks over to the door and promptly leaves the room. My classmates, on the other hand, all continue to hang around the classroom in small groups, chatting loudly, just as they were before class began. Alicia has a point. Maybe I should take a break too. I'm certainly not going to get anything done like this. Okay. With that, even though I kind of want to keep going, I'm going to start stream right here for now. Tomorrow, actually I might stream tomorrow, I don't know. Oh, I need to save first. But yeah, tomorrow I'll probably stream, and I'll probably stream this, or I'll stream Neo Kuni 2. Anyways, with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, because I'm enjoying this, and have a good night.